Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.
And we got a very special edition of Kinzel's Classroom. Professor, take it away.
Oh, saddle up, boys. Class is in session. Welcome back to another edition of Kinzel's Classroom here on the Stock Car Spectacle. So, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, what we do here, I have 5 drivers, and it is my student's job to grade the weekend, and I'll see if I agree or disagree with them. So, Mike Gamble's up first because he was absent in the classroom last week, so I'm gonna put him on spot first with Alex Bowman and a P13 finish. So here's what I think about Alex Bowman this season. He's only got 2 top 10s. Granted, we're only 5 races in, but we went to some real good tracks for him, and he did not perform. This one I think of like when he sat on the pole in Junior's car here back in what was that, 2017 or something like that,
Yeah.
2016, and then we were at Vegas the week before, and he had the fastest car there until that caution came out. He was going to win. He might have caught Ryan Blaney in that race. So only 2 top 10 finishes. He comes on P13. The other Hendrick cars seem to be performing right now. So is he the weakest link at Hendrick Motorsports? Mikey Gamble.
Well, to answer your first question, I've thought for a while that he's the weakest link at Hendrick Motorsports. Yeah, he had a win last year and looked pretty good in the process. But again, I kind of said at the time, I thought that was just, a little bit of circumstantial more than the form of what was then the 88 team. And then you go back into this race. So I'm going to give him a B-. P13, that's not a bad run. Don't forget, too, he was a Ross Chastain victim.
Yeah.
So that will obviously, impede whatever kind of success you're going to have on the day. And who knows, maybe they would have made an adjustment or two and been right up in the top 10 or so with the rest of HMS. So I'll go B-. I think that's a pretty fair score, especially given, everything he went through on the day.
Yeah, I was going to go B-, C+ range. Definitely do think he's that weakest link at Hendrick Motorsports. So we'll have to monitor that as the season continues. Next driver on my list is quite possibly the weakest link at Joe Gibbs Racing right now. 18 car, Kyle Busch, P25, tough day in the desert, and a really meh start to the season. He won the Busch Clash, but ever since that, he's been at best. And with Christopher Bell going to victory lane, Denny Hamlin consistently runs up front. Martin Truex Jr. went to victory lane yesterday. When's it going to be Rowdy's time? Is he the weakest link at JGR at the moment with those 3 cars performing better than he is? No, he's got a new crew chief and everything. Ian Georgeson, P25 finish for old Rowdy.
I kind of agree with you there. I do think that Rowdy is the weakest link at Joe Gibbs Racing right now. That's crazy to say because 2 years ago, he was the champion. He was the guy that was dominating week in and week out, that he was contending for wins. And now it's like, when is he going to get that win this year? And yeah, I'll give him a D+ for this race, to be honest, because he kind of screwed himself in the beginning. He got a speeding penalty on pit road, just not driving good at all. And then just racing against Ross Chastain, a driver that he shouldn't even be worrying about right now. And then Ross gets into him, spins him out. So I don't know. Rowdy, he's kind of just playing with a whole lot of fire right now. And yeah, with MTJ getting that win yesterday, that puts Kyle at the black sheep status at Joe Gibbs Racing. So that's a D+ for Kyle right there.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I do feel for Kyle a little bit. His whole team got swapped out. Like basically his whole team quit on him.
Yeah.
Adam Stevens and the pit crew guys, they all went over to the 20, and then he got stuck with the 20 pit crew and then Ben Bayshore. So, but still, he's Kyle Busch. He's a 2-time Cup Series champion. He's got to be able to work through that. I know we're only 5 races in, but for Kyle Busch to be the black sheep at Joe Gibbs Racing right now, not worthy of my time, and that's worthy of a trip to the Kinzel's Classroom Breakfast Club. Come on down, Rowdy.
That might be Rowdy's first visit to the Breakfast Club. Whoa!
I just want to add one little caveat to that, though. I mean, hey, form is temporary. It is Kyle Busch we're still talking about. Yeah, he may be the black sheep at Joe Gibbs Racing right now, but I'm not overly convinced that's the way this is going to go for the next 30 something races either.
Yeah. I'm just going for first 5 races right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He's been trash. Yeah. Moving on. So Kyle's gonna see me after class, and it's not gonna be fun for him. So moving on. Bubba Wallace, P16 finished yesterday. It's been a tough start to the season for 23XI Racing, but yesterday was probably their best performance of the year so far, as Bubba had that car in the top 10, top 15 for a big portion of that race. Strategy kind of killed their day as he wound up 16th, but I think that's a big step in the right direction for 23XI Racing. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I actually have to agree. I'm going to go with a solid B for the 23 team. Nick, like you said, I think the finish and the overall running of the 23 team would have been a little stronger. I strongly disagreed at the time with Mike Wheeler leaving him out to assume the lead in that later race restart. Don't really know what they were trying to get after there. You knew you weren't going to hang on. I don't know if they were just going for like a net game, hoping he would only fall to like 6th or 7th as opposed to where they were running at the time. But obviously didn't work out. I would have liked to see them stay on, a little more with what the leaders were doing. But nonetheless, Carr's average running position had to be well into the top 15. Like you said, it at its best ran back or middle half of the top 10, which is really good to see. That's about where they want to be. So this was a step in the right direction for Bubba Wallace, 23XI Racing, and hope it's something they can keep building on.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to agree there. Solid B for that 23 team. Let's see if they can continue on that. Fourth driver on my list, my boy, Matty D, P14. 14th isn't anything great, but you considering how the 21 team started off the year, I think they'll take this finish. First 3 races of the year, the 21 car only had 14 total points and were well below the top 30 in overall standings. But with finishes of 16th and 14th in the last 2 races, he now sits 28th in points with tons of races to make it back up there. And honestly, in those last 2 races, Carr looked like it had speed as he was running in the top 10 for a good half of that race. So, Ian, what do you think about the old 21?
Yeah, I'm kind of near the range of like a C+ to a B- for Matty D in this race. The car and the driver have been improving the past 2 weeks. 16th last week, 14th this week. So definitely improving, but he has a lot of ground to make up. We saw him, he got quite a few second place finishes last year. And we know that car can compete. We know Wood Brothers Racing is fast. They're a satellite team with Penske Racing, and that team has a whole lot of horsepower. So I think Matty D, he's getting a little bit more comfortable this season, and I think we'll start seeing him pull off a few more top 10s, but I'll give him a C+ for right now.
Yeah, I would have to stay in the C range as well. Like, that's 14th is not where you want to be running, but it's definitely better than the 30th plus place finishes that he was bringing on the first 3 races of this season. Definitely. It seems like with the 21 team, they start off the race really well, but then they just always they always miss that last adjustment on pit road, and they just fall back. And that's what we saw here at Phoenix and what we saw at Vegas, because front half of those races, he's running in the top 10 comfortably, and that's where he needs to be. And he's got to put himself in positions to finish there, and he's got to get some checker flags this year if he wants to solidify himself a good ride for 2022 as he's out of the 21 car for that season. So yeah, solid C. They it's a step in the right direction, but they got to intensify up. They got to step it up here. So that leads us to the last one. This, as everybody knows, for the last one, we do both of you get your opinions on this. For the 5th one, not even a driver. It's the traction compound that they apply to this racetrack and to other racetracks. So yesterday's race, it really didn't have a ton of storylines, as it was pretty tough to pass. And the traction compound just didn't seem to help one bit. It was clear the top is where you want it to be because that's where the stuff was. But that bottom, you couldn't make the bottom work to save your life there late down the stretch. We saw it in the Xfinity race, and we saw it in the Cup race. So is it time to NASCAR? Is it time for NASCAR to do away with the traction compound? Is this question for both of you?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily say it's time to do away with the traction compound, but what I will say is traction compound has become more and more necessary because of the package that they currently run. I think as we move into the next gen car, you might see them kind of, moving a little bit further away from it, have it not be such a necessary element of tracks that are normally, one groove racetracks. But then again, in the current race, package that we have for 2021, just didn't seem to play out super well in this racetrack, but there are a lot of tracks that actually helped out too. So I don't know if I necessarily say I want to see it gone, but I think, like I said, a stronger package and whatever we're going to run in 2022 might make it a little more, a little more enjoyable, a little more adding to the experience.
Yeah, like you said, it works at some tracks and it definitely doesn't work at other tracks. And I think Phoenix was a good example of that. I feel like at some tracks, it just kind of complicates, the whole, what is the best groove to race on? Because sometimes, I know when I went to Bristol at a night race a few years ago, they surprised all the drivers that they put PJ1 on top of the track. So I don't know. I'm a fan of it, and I don't like it at the same time. I still think that they need to kind of test it a little bit. They've been working on it for 2 years now at some tracks and not at other tracks. So I don't know. It's really iffy, but yeah, I don't really like it how they used it at Phoenix, and so I don't know. I'll give it a D with how it was laid out at Phoenix.
Yeah. Overall, when we talk about tracks at compound, it's usually not in a really positive way. So the drivers don't really seem to like it all that much. It pretty much what it did yesterday was it turned Phoenix into a one groove track. Once you got later into a run, you would just see everybody move up to the top of the racetrack. And if you try to move on the bottom, you saw it in the Xfinity race too. You just couldn't make it work. It sucks. But yeah, I don't really know what they're gonna do. I hope that with a new car next year, it maybe plays a little bit better. But yeah, I just wasn't a fan of that yesterday. And yeah, just not enough storylines in that race for it to make it work. So yeah, I'll give it a D as well. Maybe even almost an F. Traction Compound can come see me after class 2 with Mr. Rowdy Bush.
Well, I just thought it's ironic, the PJ1 makes the racetrack a one groove racetrack. Like, isn't that the point of it?
Yeah.
Is to not have that
make
happen.
It a one groove track.
And they swung it so much the other direction too, which is crazy.
Because everybody's just gonna go up there, and then you just can't make the other grooves work, and it sucks to see. But yeah, so overall, we'll see what NASCAR continues to do with that. They like to piss their fans off, so we might see even more of it. So who knows? But
numbers on the quarter panels, and then every racetrack fully covered in PJ1.
Honestly,
all over the track.
Why not? Why not? Just to make everybody even more mad. But so, Mr. Kyle Busch and the Traction Compounder come see me after class. Other than that, if you boys don't have anything else to say, class dismissed.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Stock Car Spectacle. Make sure to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications when we upload new content. Make sure to check out our merchandise on Spreadshirt.com, all designed by our good friend Dalton Good. You can get hats like these, sweatshirts like this, hats, face masks, anything that you need. You can find it on Spreadshirt.com. We'll have the link below. Make sure to follow me, Nick, and Mike on Twitter, along with the Stock Car Spectacle accounts for weekly updates of the show. Make sure to tune into our shows this week with our Phoenix review, our Atlanta preview, and, of course, the Gamblers Picks. And then make sure to check out Kodo's Mojo with me, Adam Cornwell, and Patrick Kodo as we give you weekly sports updates. This week, we filled out our brackets to get ready for the March Madness tournament. Nick joined us. He's getting ready for his Mountaineers to pound some ass this weekend and win that tournament. I know you're excited, buddy.
Oh, dude, it's the best time of the year. We didn't get a tournament last year, so I feel good. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.
Have a great week, everybody.